Hey guys, another semi-professional back talking about movie news. This isn't really new news. In fact, we all are aware that James Cameron, the GOAT director of all time here, well, not of all time, but of the Marvel Universe, I would say, yeah, Russo brothers are a combination of individuals. I'm getting off track. He's been reinstated. He's back at Marvel. We're all super happy. This happened about a week ago, so it's not new news. That's not what this video is for. I didn't do a video back then. I was just kind of super tied up. But I'm back at making videos now, so I kind of wanted to address the state of Marvel and DC in terms of um, just well, we know the universe is going from strength to strength. Marvel and DC has started to get a track record going. James Gunn initially was fired due to trolls bringing up stuff from his past. That's all been hashed out, and we all know about it. So Marvel, Alan Horn, Bob Iger, they decided, look, they had to part ways. It was bad publicity. DC, Warner Brothers stepped in and said, what project do you want? Basically, literally gave him an open table as far as I can see. He could have done Superman from all reports. He could have taken anything he wanted. He is doing Brightburn, so it's kind of like a Superman parody, so that wouldn't have been cool. But the project he decided to take on above all others, I mean, he picked Suicide Squad. He wanted that sequel. Now, do I think the picture I have up there is the cast or the type of characters that James Gunn is going to portray in Suicide Squad 2? No. I think he's going to do the exact same premise, maybe have the same um, authoritative figures who are creating criminals, but it will be all new band of criminals that they have in the system, purely obscure characters that James Gunn can make us love the same way he made us love a talking tree and a talking raccoon. I mean, that's just what James Gunn does. He makes fantastic movies out of obscure characters that we all want to love. Uh, so I imagine we're going to get the DC version of Guardians, but on Earth with as obscure band of criminals, and we're just going to have some sort of wacky adventures with them being forced to do good even though they're not necessarily good themselves. I mean, Drax was in prison and he was out on a murderous rampage to find Thanos. Not exactly a good guy. You could say righteous, but not necessarily a good guy. But we still love the dude, right? We love Dave Bautista as well. So that's Suicide Squad. That's going to be first. Suicide Squad 2, should I say. That will be coming first because the deal for Marvel to get James Gunn back was stipulated that he could finish Suicide Squad 2. Of course, they weren't going to try and intrude on that. And then as soon as Suicide Squad wraps, that he will go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But we are aware that for Guardians of the Galaxy, there was already a script written and finished and approved. That was the script that they were going to go with even without James Gunn, with just a new director using that script. Now that James Gunn is back, he gets to go back to his original script. You can say there may be tweaks based on certain decisions that have happened over the last year since James Gunn's not been around over the last several months. Um, things that Kevin Feige or the Russo brothers would have stipulated that changes. So maybe there are tweaks to incorporate based on recent decisions or stuff that would happen, maybe from some post-shoot decisions for Marvel or for Kevin Feige or the Russo brothers, things like that, that may impact Guardians lore. Um, but the best thing in terms of the Guardians and the Marvel franchise is we have back at the helm of the ship the director who brought us to the cosmic universe. I mean, Thor Ragnarok and Taika Waititi expanded it even further, but really it was James Gunn and Guardians that gave us that cosmic universe, that kind of gave us that first glimpse into it. And as Kevin Feige has said, Phase 4 is largely going to go to the cosmic. I mean, I'm assuming there'll still be Spider-Man will still be on Earth. Black Panther probably still on Earth. Doctor Strange potentially based on Earth, but he can go to any realm he wants in the mystic realms. So potentially not on Earth. It could go cosmic with him to an extent, even though through mysticism. Um, I mean, to Dormammu's realm again, or other such realms. I mean, Mordor will probably be a protagonist. Anyway, but the cosmic realm that James Gunn has already started alluding to, we have Adam Warlock should be on the way. That's something that can come in now in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I mean, we've already had Aisha kind of created him. That's a new story for him, but that's fine. It's MCU lore. We have potentially Nova coming in. That's new. That's new again. Coming from like Thanos has destroyed Xandar. So to get the Power Stone, maybe Nova is kind of looking for revenge. Again, it will be a particularly different backstory to him, having not been already developed prior to this happening. But I mean, that's fine. MCU already drift away and make their own, adapted for screenplay backstories for characters, and so that's totally fine as well. And there'll be a whole bunch of other characters we can't think of yet. Potentially, everyone's talking about now that the Fox deal is done, that we might be able to get Galactus and Silver Surfer. That's more massive cosmic stuff, and that I would be confident they would do Galactus right under James Gunn. Unlike how it was done in the Fantastic Four properties, which those properties have been hit or miss, And speaking of Fantastic Four, Phase 4, they could be introduced in a world where we're all confident of cosmic such characters in terms of they could be an Earth-based team, but they go into, we know they go to space, they can adventure in space and eventually get their powers. They can be non-powered for the entirety of the first movie, get their powers in the third act of the first Fantastic Four movie. In terms of their cosmic adventures, things like that. So it's just basically in space, and we're happy now with Marvel in space. We know that's a thing that we're confident on. With James Gunn back in the fold, we know that they're going to make these cosmic movies right. I mean, there'll be other directors involved, of course, but he will be now being consulted as we know that the Russos and James Gunn and other directors in Marvel consult on the overall folding universe and Kevin Feige's approval on everything. So with James Gunn back in, at least he'll get his say on how he was steering the cosmic universe. And I'm super confident. I'm so confident in him being involved in that I think that I'm so much happier now going into Marvel Phase 4 with him back in the fold, giving us the movies we've always wanted to see. And as for DC, I mean, they've been going from strength to strength. They've had a few hits now. I mean, Aquaman was amazing, really loved it. Shazam is tracking at currently 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I haven't seen it. We'll be seeing it as soon as it's out. But it's set to be big. I mean, opening weekend currently tracking around 45 to 50 million, but a lot of experts online saying, I mean, John Campy and the likes talking about, it's going to exceed that. No one's putting exact figures on it, but I mean, 60 million is not, absurd. I mean, okay, you compare it to Captain Marvel's 150 million, but that was a blockbuster moment, whereas Shazam is just continuing a very strong trend. Captain Marvel is probably going to break $1 billion. This movie won't need to do that to be seen as a huge success. I mean, 500 million will be insane for Shazam. This unknown character coming in. 5 to 600 million is probably where it's going to sit. I think if it can keep going the way it should be, but 450 wouldn't be a flop. It would be fine at that. I mean, the numbers we talk about today being in the billions, but that's still an exclusive club. Shazam doesn't need to hit those numbers and won't hit those numbers. But breaking 500 million will be a huge success. And after that, we're talking just absolute bonus territory if it can get up to the 6, 7, 8s. But that's, we'll see those first weekend real numbers. If they're 70 plus, then yeah, it's going to go off the charts. But realistically, anywhere from 45 to 55 is probably good. But getting back on track to this conversation, so DC are back on track. James Gunn is now getting into their fold and making, Suicide Squad, the first one. I didn't hate it, but I was far from a fan. And I just think that the premise is potentially a good idea, but I think it was just done wrong. It wasn't. I don't know what to say, but I just feel like it just missed in too many ways. I don't think James Gunn's going to miss the same marks. I think he knows how to hit his marks throughout, telling a story. And I am really now excited for Suicide Squad 2. And to be honest, if you told me Suicide Squad was coming out with almost any other director, I would have been like, well, I didn't see. I would go and watch it because I watch every comic book movie, but I would have been like, okay. It's not would not have been anticipated at all. But now I'm really, really anticipating that because James Gunn just makes good movies, and of course he's got Brightburn on the way, which I'll do a review on as well soon. So overall, this is the first time we have had the same director directing a Marvel and DC film at the same time. What does this mean? It means that we as fans are winning on two accounts. It means that trolls have lost because the ones who try to get him out for their own agendas got him paid out of his contract 10 million US dollars. He then gets a lucrative deal with DC, which he wouldn't have gotten or taken was he still under contract with Marvel. Then Marvel reversed the decision. Well done, Bob Iger. Well done, Alan Horn, for reversing that decision. It was the right decision to reverse it. The man had already apologized profusely, and it really wasn't something that he deserved to be fired for in the instant. So that's my personal opinion. So well done to him, and he gets another lucrative deal from Marvel to get him back in, and he probably got some perks on top of that for being gracious enough to go back in after they'd fired him outright publicly and kind of handled it kind of poorly, let's be honest. So instead of having his one lucrative deal with Marvel, he got paid out of that, got paid in pretty much 10 million clear and free, and now has two ongoing lucrative deals with DC and Marvel. I mean, James Gunn probably didn't want that to happen the way it did, but let's be honest, he's won, and the people who wanted to kind of basically ruin him a little bit, they failed. So as a fan, we've got two amazing movies coming out now for Marvel and DC, and as long as you're not a fanboy of one or the other, you like all of them together and don't mind who's creating, as long as it's good comic book movies, like me, then you're on to a win. Just enjoy the fact that James Gunn is making more movies in both Marvel and DC now. We all win. So welcome back, James Gunn, to the Marvel franchise. Can't wait to see what you do in both Marvel and DC, and of course that Brightburn movie. Looking forward to see that too. James Gunn, delighted for you. And guys, if you like the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe to me. Let me know in the comments what your opinions are. If you have any extra information to add to the video, things you felt I misspoke on, or just didn't get factually accurate, feel free to try and correct me in the comments. And if you're right, I'll address it. So thanks, guys, and see you all next time.